Oh, hello there, guys. I was just, not playing Mario. Because he's dead. Hello there, guys. This is Solid Shepard bringing you another video. And today we are talking about the end of the Mario 35th anniversary, and more importantly, possibly what it could mean for the Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary. The Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary, the basically accepted theory of the whole thing, is it was being put off. It was being pushed off in favor of continuing and finishing the Mario 35th anniversary. But as of today, April 1st, happy April Fool's Day, by the way. Don't worry, this isn't an April Fool's video. The Mario 35th anniversary is officially over. And as we know, the Zelda 35th anniversary, the actual anniversary, has already come and gone. But we all basically, like I said, the accepted theory is that they were pushing it off until the Mario one was over. Now, you could argue not necessarily because the Pokemon 25th anniversary is currently going on, but I don't know if that's really that big of a deal breaker as far as Zelda 35th anniversary goes. Simply because they started the Pokemon 25th anniversary while the Mario 35th anniversary was still going on. So I think they're kind of looking at Pokemon as its own kind of thing. The Pokemon Company, Game Freak, is kind of doing their own thing away from Nintendo. So this really comes down to Mario and Zelda. An easy way to kind of think about it, I believe, is kind of like how we look at the video game consoles, right? You have Nintendo, and we kind of tend to compartmentalize Nintendo over into its own thing, and we just look at PlayStation versus Xbox. We don't really include Nintendo over there. So we have, like, Mario and Zelda, and then we have Pokemon over here doing its own thing. Now, reasons why I think we could be getting some Zelda news. The Zelda 35th anniversary dropped soon, now that Mario is over. And when I say soon, soon's relative, right? Within like the next few months or so. It could be sooner. It could be like soon. I don't know. I'm not in the know. I'm just speculating. But if we look at this year so far, what Nintendo has offered up here. So we're on Nintendo's actual page, at Nintendo's actual website. And we are looking at the game releases, the coming soon games, right? So right here we have Monster Hunter Rise. This is the most recent game that's been released, and we see it says March 26, 2021. The next game to be released is going to be April 30th, and it's going to be the new Pokemon Snap. Now, the next game after that, we have Miitopia on May 21st. We have DC Superhero Girls Teen Power on June 4th. We have Mario Golf on June 25th. And then we have The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on July 16th. This is the last game where we have like a concrete date on when it's going to release. And all we have other than that for this year is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes. The Pokemon remakes. And it just says late 2021. I would assume around holiday time. And then we have Pokemon Legends Arceus and Splatoon 3, but both of these games do not release this year. They are slated. The Pokemon Legends Arceus is early 2022, and Splatoon 3 is just 2022. There's no real designator there, so that's really... Both of these are tentative, but Splatoon 3 is really tentative. So basically this year, let's look at what we got here, okay? Monster Hunter Rise is already out. So what do we have to look forward to with Nintendo? Pokemon Snap. There's a market for Pokemon Snap, but mostly this is just because of their 25th anniversary. They're kind of targeting people's childhoods who are really into this Pokemon Snap on the N64. It's a very, very niche kind of release. Look at Miitopia, something a lot of people are nostalgic for from the recent, like the Wii days and all that. I believe it was on the Wii U also. I don't really remember. But it's, once again, a very niche release. I mean, from what I've heard, it's a great game and it's fun, but it's a very niche thing, and it's not even a full price game. It's $49.99. And then we have DC Superhero Girls Team Power. I really don't know anyone's really super looking forward to this, other than, like, you know, kids, like little girls. Maybe some little boys, but like kids. Like, kids are going to be looking forward to this. This isn't like a really, once again, very niche. It's targeting a niche group. A very niche release. We have Mario Golf. Mario Golf is, like, once again, a lot of people are looking forward to it. But it's kind of along the lines of, like, Mario Kart and, like, Mario Party. Like, that kind of release. It's not really, like, a big thing. I mean, it's a big thing, but it's not a big thing. You know what I'm saying? And then we have The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which I'm going to get into this a little bit, but I believe the only reason why, like, I believe it's going to have the 35th anniversary branding once The Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary is announced. They just can't do that yet because they haven't announced it yet, but this is like the first part, I believe, of The Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary celebration. But once again, it's a remake, so this is all we have right now. Past these games I just said, remake, and then we have the Pokemon 25th Anniversary, Shining Pearl, and Brilliant Diamond, which are remakes. So, we have remake and remake. Remake and remake. Mario Golf, which is a continuation of a game on older consoles. A kid's game. Basically a remake, right? Basically, once again, like Miitopia and Pokemon Snap, both games from older consoles. What's new? What's new that is coming? DC Superhero Girls, basically. So what is there? The Legend of Zelda 35th Anniversary is coming, and there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot behind it. There has to be. Because, like, Nintendo has a lot that's coming that they have not announced yet. There has to be. You think that Nintendo's just going to rest on their laurels when the holidays come around and not have more than Pokemon Shining Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, and Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD? And really, Skyward Sword HD releases in July, so it's going to be old by then. Mario Golf's going to be really old. This game's going to be old, and no one who, other than kids, is going to really probably care about it. There's going to be some people, but Miitopia's come out in May. You see where I'm going here. Like, a lot of kids will probably get, if they do want these games, will get them for their birthdays by then, and adults will just have bought them with their paychecks. There's more stuff coming. Now, why do I believe it is going to be The Legend of Zelda 35th Anniversary? And not something else. Obviously, Pokemon will probably have a couple other goodies coming out too. But here's why I am targeting Zelda. We're going to look at the recent past mainline Zelda releases real quick. Okay, we're going to start from GameCube to present. So we have Wind Waker. We have Twilight Princess. We have Skyward Sword. And we have Breath of the Wild. Let's break those down. Wind Waker. It released within... It was a couple months past it, but it was within around the year the GameCube released. Twilight Princess. It was a Wii release title. Skyward Sword was an exception. It was not a release title, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. Breath of the Wild was the Switch release title. It was the Switch was like the Breath of the Wild machine. So if we break that down, release titles, 2. Around 1 year of release time of the console, 1, and exception 1. That's 2, 1, 1. So something to note. So we're going to go back to the N64 now. Now we're going to look at all 3D mainline Zelda games. Ocarina of Time was actually meant to be a launch title for the N64 DD, otherwise known as Nintendo 64 Disk Drive. Majora's Mask is another exception, obviously. It was a kind of a continuation off of Ocarina of Time. But it's still released not towards like the end of the N64's life cycle, so it's an exception. We'll talk about, but there is a little caveat to that one too. So right now, speaking of that, now that we have all the 3D mainline Zelda games, planned to be released titles. 3. Released within 1 year of the console's launch. 1, and the exception 2. Okay, now, let's talk about the Wind Waker and that within the 1 year thing, okay? So we have the 2000 Space World Showcase. A lot of people remember that, where it showed the very high, at the time, high graphics Link fighting Ganondorf. That was originally the idea that was supposed to be the next Zelda game. It was kind of scrapped later, but that was, by all means, supposed to be the next Zelda game. Word is that they threw together a demo real quick to kind of show off what it was going to be, but Eiji Aonuma basically said he didn't like that direction of the game. He felt like they'd already kind of exhausted the avenue of that kind of style of Zelda, so he really wanted to kind of go for a more artistic kind of design. So they kind of scrapped all of that. And word is that they were kind of developing the next Zelda game, like the big Zelda game, around the same time that they were, like for the next console, around the same time that they were working on Majora's Mask, when they started working on Majora's Mask. Obviously, Majora's Mask had a 1 year cycle. So the GameCube game obviously was not done yet. Majora's Mask came out first. But considering that they started development, or at least pre-development, the same time they started the pre-development and development of Majora's Mask, goes to show you how much time they were actually putting into the game. They had how far they'd probably come before they decided to scrap all that in 2000. Now that was within like a year or so of the GameCube releasing, and we know that the Wind Waker, which is what that game became after they kind of scrapped a lot of it, came out within about the year window out from when the GameCube launched. So you gotta think scrapping that much delayed it at least a bit. And really, that Wind Waker only came out like a bit after the GameCube had been out. So whereas it wasn't a launch title, this whole situation is kind of insinuating that it was supposed to be. So we actually have to put the plan to be released titles to 4 and the exceptions to 2. Now let's talk about those two. First of all, we're going to talk about Majora's Mask. As once again, a lot of people know Eiji Aonuma didn't like the idea, basically, of just doing DLC with the disc drive for Ocarina Time. So he kind of got into it with Miyamoto, and basically Miyamoto challenged him. They basically said, okay, you have a year to make a new Zelda game. And that ended up being Majora's Mask. So that was very special circumstances. It was like a very kind of spur-of-the-moment thing. It wasn't really something that was planned ahead of time. So that has a big asterisk in front of it, right? Now let's talk about the other one, which I said we'd talk about more earlier, which is Skyward Sword. When did Skyward Sword release? Even though it wasn't a launch release for its console, when did it release? It released for the Legend of Zelda 25th anniversary. What do we have right now that we're about to start? The Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary. So we see the majority of Zelda games generally are release titles for new tech. Whether it be the disc drive, a new console. What do we have coming at the end of this year, according to Bloomberg, from 2 articles / videos that I've already done on this channel? Nintendo Switch 2 / Pro is supposedly coming this year. So we have also coming this year Skyward Sword HD. So the game that released for the 25th anniversary and is also getting its HD remaster on the Switch this year, in the series that has a big history of having launch titles on new technology from Nintendo. And we haven't even talked about one other thing. Breath of the Wild was a release title for the Switch. What do we have coming at the end of the year? according to Eiji Aonuma. Eiji Aonuma said at the Nintendo Direct that he promised there would be more Breath of the Wild 2 info coming later this year. It'll be coming later this year. And one more thing, talking about these two exceptions. Majora's Mask. Why does it exist? It was a game that was created as a continuation of the Zelda that was the very previous Zelda before it. It was a continuation, it was a sequel. Majora's Mask is really the only one, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask is the only time that's ever really happened, but now we're getting it with Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2. Using the same engine, a lot of the same assets, if you will. So we have that link from the Majora's Mask situation, which is one of the exceptions, to Breath of the Wild 2, and this Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary. And we have the Skyward Sword and Skyward Sword HD, which released during the 25th anniversary of Zelda, 10 years later, the 35th anniversary of Zelda. So not only does that mean it technically has an asterisk because it wasn't just something random, even though it wasn't for the release of a new console as a launch title, it was still for a big event. We have that parallel. And then with Majora's Mask, with the reusing assets and stuff for the next game, that is the exact sequel, and that's never really been done before until now, other than that one time. We have that parallel. And then the rest of the games in the 3D Zelda games have all been launch titles for new tech. All of them. I think you can see where I'm going with this. The Ding Dong, The Plumber's Dead, The Legend of Zelda 35th Anniversary is going to be coming. Now, remember, this is speculation, but it's pretty obvious at this point. It's coming, and it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. And that's all I got. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, if you are enjoying my content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Solid Shepard. Until next time, I should go.